We'll jam the 5-7 suited here. Also check back or non nice is fine. We'll give this one a limp trap with ace-4 suited. 300 chefs is definitely playing pre-flop GTO enough to like. There'll be certain opponents where you might want to just. I'm going to just jam this at this stack depth here. He's going to have enough bluffs in this. Yeah, there you go. There are certain opponents where if you're playing recreationals that don't ISO bluff, maybe just open jam ace-4 suited, right? Because I mean, trapping is okay, but as you get shallower, the benefits of trapping kind of get worse. The game's still going on, by the way. So we'll start with check call here. Slight reduction in ace X combinatorically wise because a lot of his ace-2, ace-3, ace-4 offsuit would fold. Meanwhile, we're all in with 10 queen against 5s. Looks like we're going to win that one. Yep. Going to go for just a little block here. 1.2. I don't know, to be honest. You could even check, but I think... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe... It's more about the range, how we play our range in that situation. Try limp here. Meanwhile, we're all in with ace-5 against king-6. Hey, we get the win. Very important to win that 2x. Alright, automatically updated. We'll start with a call here. Can also shove. Both would be absolutely reasonable to do either, but we're going to start with a call this time. And then 2.5 half pot here. Okay. We'll start with a call. Not going to fold this one. A diamond we'll just have to call off on. I think the 5, it's close, you know. Like, there will be some bluffs here, so he's definitely going to be capable of taking some Jack-9, stuff like that. We don't have great equity. It's an interesting snap jam as well. We have lots of 10x. We have some 7x. I mean, it's GTO cool, isn't it? 10-4. Interesting snap jam. Okay, fair. We'll keep playing this until... I mean, I think 5x, for example, could snap jam from 300 chef shoes there as well. And then obviously you have lots of draws and stuff. Whether it makes sense, because I mean, it's just a question of like whether jacks or something snap jam as well. The sizings are definitely interesting choices, but I think it's reasonable. Alright, let me try and update, because we're finally back to one table. So let me try and catch up with the chat, because I realise I'm missing a bunch of chat. I apologise. We're going to jam King Jack suited. Okay, Galactic Tranquility. Tomo, does it make sense with someone moving up the limits to play 50s on Party Poker and face players like Breadline and Alpha and other better eggs? I mean, at some point, you got to play them, right? So I wouldn't say you have to always run away from regs or anything. I think depends a little bit what your end goal is. So if the end goal is, I want to make, let's say your goal is, I want to make as much money as possible this month, then probably not, right? You want to just pick your spots and play games where like you make more or less whatever. Benefits about playing them would be maybe you think your long-term EV, maybe EV over a year could be higher if you do that. I'm going to go for a little block here. So not too short to make of the check back on the 6-4-10. And then 8 comes. I think we're pretty easy check and then just decide. Could check raise sometimes with this combo. It's not a bad combo. I mean, I couldn't think of much of a better combo you could have. Now I could have checked some 10s. I don't expect him to bluff too frequently here. So, I mean, like, what's the bluff that we expect to see here? Can anyone name a bluff? I'm waiting for a bluff. Maybe a Jack-9 of clubs. It's one combo. Coming in some value. Yeah, you could have pocket 10s. You could have ace-4. You could have pocket 6s. You could have aces. You could have pocket 8s. That makes all perfect sense. So I guess we'll fold. How do you... So I think check call is not really an option there. Check raising sometimes, if we think he'll bet fold a better hand. It's tough, but like let's say he bets and small and we decide that we think he's got pocket 9s or something there. Then maybe you think, oh, you know what, I might try a little shove there, try and make that fold. But yeah, I don't know. You'll always be behind those players because they spend a lot of time studying. Yes and no. I mean, I think Galactic, what you can remember is like everybody started behind everybody at some point, right? So the best player in the world started behind other regs at some point, and then eventually you can overtake. And it's not just about time studying. It's not like a linear, this person studies 20 hours and this person studies 5 hours, so the guy's 4 times better. It's also, let's say, your skill sets. How good are you at mental game, for example? How good are you at playing? Think about the differentials that can be there. So, like, maybe you're equally skilled, but you have a much better mental game. Maybe you're equally skilled, but you're much better at, like, quitting the games when you're struggling compared to they are. Maybe you just have better understanding of how to play recreationals or whatever. I mean, there's a whole lot of different potentials it could be. And when you think about that, yeah, on top of, let's say, studying efficiently, not just quality studying, not quantity studying. So, yeah. Risky says, not true. There's a law of diminishing returns. At first, you improve very rapidly, and at some point, only small improvements are possible, if any at all. Yeah. I think that's fair. Hey, Nikki, you did something. Did Nikki do a poll? Yeah, he did. Nikki. Hey, that's good. And the Beast is here. Hey, Tommy, nice to see you. How you doing? Keeping it moving. I wish you a nice and happy new year, full of success. Thank you very much, the Beast. How are you getting on? Hope you're doing well. Any joy on Italia.it? Grazie mille, amico. Buona fortuna para... I don't know. How would I say Happy New Year in Italian? Not sure. Who knows? Ninja Goldfish, thank you for your first chat contribution. Excellent. Nice to see some spin content. I'm learning spins, starting off with a real low stakes. Ninja Goldfish, I was exactly in your shoes 7 or 8 years ago. So I was playing $7 games. I played a little bit of poker before, so I was a professional for 4 years. So I had a little bit of a bankroll. But I played $7 spins for about a year, then $15 spins for about a year, then $30 spins for about 6 months, and then moved up to 60s, 100s, and eventually 500s over the last 3 or 4 years. You know, not just up and down a bit as well. First is the only bit of trapping I can see is protecting your limp range versus reg, so you can't go bananas versus limps, isn't it? Otherwise, raising strong hands is always better. Is that with the limp trap with the 6s, you mean? I assume that's what you mean. Yeah, I mean, so for example, that 10-4 off, like, typically, when you think about the ISO range, it's either bluffs, aka hands like 10-4 off or whatever, Queen 3 off, stuff like that, or it's value. And if it's value, you know, whatever, we're flipping or we're dominated. And so the idea with limping 6s is not just for 6's sake, but for our entire range's sake. You're absolutely right. If we don't limp 6s, if we just limp jam every pair, that means on a lot of low boards, it's a very significant part of our value range when we got pairs there. Hey, everybody's flipping sort of thing. Looking for a 5. Not a diamond though. Close to what I wanted. But yeah, if the ball comes 6, let's say the ball comes middling 8, 6, 4, and you limp shove your 4s, you limp shove your 6s, you limp shove your 8s, anything like that. The challenge is on that sort of board. If you don't have 8-6 off, you don't have 6-4 off, you might not limp core 6-4 suited. You're drawing pretty thin in terms of having actually any nuts on those sort of boards, and so it can be very, very easy for our opponent just to bet their entire air range or whatever. But yeah. Kalad says, these turn donk bets are becoming a little more popular regs, aren't they? I've seen a few non-casual players and even non-bad regs use them. They're becoming much more part of the meta, let's say. So early on, I remember 2017, it was quite unusual to turn donk. It was like, whoa, what's going on here? And people did some sort of wild things. For example, I remember 2017 was when the 1/3 sizing first came out. No one really had 1/3 before, and then there was a skier GTO DB was the solver that came out in 2017. Advocated 1/3 a lot, and now everybody 1/3'd from sort of then on, and it was like, oh, I'm a 1/3 reg, etc, etc. And I was a bit resistant at first, but now I just do it because whatever, GTO, innit? And so that definitely, metas shift a little bit, and so we will see, I think, an increasing amount of things that are fairly unique. I think will just become increasingly part of the standard meta, where if you think about flop, turn, River Donks. I think they're all going to be. Now, very interesting 300 chef, you used a 2.63 here. Just to put it out there. Because 2.5 was your consistent sizing. 2 out of 2 were bluffs. So is that... I don't know. No one tell Ryan that, but... I would... watch out there. Hey, we made a flush. Bucks322, thank you very much for the follow. Please enjoy your custom... hopefully your custom following message. If that came through, it looks like it did come through. You're welcome, mate. Okay, let's start with a bet. Could also check as well. We're going to jam 6-4 suited. 10 bigs. Could also limp sometimes. I think it's pretty indifferent. Against, let's say, different opponents, you can nudge it one way or the other. So, if you think someone plays worse post-flop, let's say they're very passive and straightforward, you maybe want to limp it more frequently. If someone's quite aggressive pre-flop or post-flop, maybe shoving makes sense, etc., etc. It's all pretty reasonable. All right. That win? That's a win. What was that? I've already immediately forgot what the bind was. 53x. Alright, good.